Hey Rockers fans, and a big hello to the Boss Babes fanatics. So sitting with me to my left is High Point Rockers right fielder, Mr. Ben Aklinski. He is clutch, both on the field, defensively, and at the plate. The amount of times we have counted on you for a big hit, a walk-off. I interview you probably more than anybody else on the team when it comes to big wins. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. Happy to be here, so.
And I wanted to first start off this fun little interview with some questions that I thought would be really interesting for the listeners to get to know you. If you could own any dream car and drive it, what would it be and why?
This is going to be the most unoriginal or original/unappealing answer to anyone. So when I was in junior college and I was playing really well, I drove a 92 Dodge Dakota. 5-speed on the floor, the paint was chipped, it was ugly. Pat Tillman, when he got drafted to the NFL, drove the same truck. He drove, like always, it was some beat up old Ford, and I thought like the same story. I was like, if I ever get drafted, I was playing for like the Diamondbacks, I would always drive that truck. And the day we had it, like, my mom got sick of looking at it in the driveway, and I wasn't home, obviously. It was like 2 years ago, we sent it off. I was so sad. So I would probably just have that truck again forever. And I would drive that truck no matter what.
So that's basically like your Old Faithful then.
Oh, 100%. That's what we called it. It was Old Faithful. Because that car started more than any car I've ever owned. I knew if I turned the key, it was going to start, and it was going to go wherever I needed to, always.
All right, so now I have to do a follow-up question with that. If you were to get your car back, say if it was still alive, would you soup it up at all, repaint it, put in a new engine, or would you literally just leave it as is?
I might put a new seat in it because, you know, as you get older, your back becomes a little bit more beat up, and that thing wasn't exactly supportive. So besides that, I would leave everything the exact same. Like I had this big long beer tap on it because it was just a screw on for the stick shift. It was great. I loved every part of that truck.
Perfect answer. I've never heard anybody say that before, but like to hear that you're into the Old Faithful. And what's your favorite ice cream flavor? Or do you have multiple favorite ice cream flavors?
So everyone's gonna hate me for this, but vanilla ice cream is the best ice cream. You can't go wrong with vanilla ice cream. You can't go wrong with a vanilla milkshake. You can't go wrong with just plain Jane vanilla.
All right, but if you had to put a topping on this vanilla ice cream, is there anything, or is it literally just the plain Jane?
Toppings could vary. It could be, you know, some people are against gummies on ice cream. I don't know why. Gummies are good on ice cream. It could be Oreo crumbles. It could be some nuts. People are against nuts and like other sweet treats too, and I'm like, nuts and sweet treats is like excellent addition, and it just makes it that much better. And people who don't like nuts and treats come at me all the time, including my girlfriend. Comes at me for it, and I don't know why.
Favorite places to go on a vacation? I don't know if you've ever gone on like a solo trip to Europe or go somewhere with your girlfriend or your family. Where do you like to go on vacation?
So I played in the Australian Baseball League, and everywhere in Australia, like every beach just ruined every United States beach for me. Like the beaches in Australia are so perfect and they're so beautiful, and I'd probably just go back there and just go around Australia all over again.
And you were born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona, which obviously not a lot of oceans around there, but you do have some lakes. What did you enjoy most about growing up in that area?
It was probably just like the fact that as a kid, you know, all you want to do is go outside and like be able to play. And in the summer, besides the summertime, and even like, you know, you're a little kid, regardless of how hot it gets, you can still go outside whenever you want. And that was probably the coolest part, was no matter the time of the year, even if it was raining, it wasn't gonna be raining all day, you could find a way to go outside and do something.
Favorite hangout spots in the area, whether that be a bar or a playground that you like to go to when you were a little kid, maybe a restaurant that you enjoy going back to currently?
There was 2 spots. There's a good old trusty dive bar that we'd go to. It's called Santisi Brothers. Good pizza, you know, just hole-in-the-wall bar. There's a couple of them in Arizona. That's it. Great spot. I'd also say the Yard. It's a culinary dropout spot. It's called the Yard. Very fun, a lot more modern, pretty spot, for more appealing to the eyes.
And I have to ask this question. I know you already mentioned the fact that some top childhood memories were spent outdoor, but was there anything that was very standout to you during your childhood?
I don't know if I'd call it standout. I just think, you know, the high school team I was a part of was pretty special. Like our head coach made it very special for all of us and made us all like truly grow into a family. And you know, we had the same team, luckily, for 3 years. We had really good, like my sophomore year we had, like at one point we had 9 starting sophomores, and, you know, being able to play with the same guys for 3 years in high school is pretty special, especially when you're actually good, so.
and a fun fact. So I heard through the grapevine that you may or may not be a twin.
I am a twin, and you know, it's a love-hate relationship. Like, some people are like, "Oh, you best friends with a twin?" I was like, "Absolutely not." I love my brother to death, but we would both agree that we are not best friends. We just are. Everyone meets us and they're like, "You guys are twins." And they're just, besides the fact that we look similar, you would have no idea that we are twins.
So who came out first? So who's the oldest?
That would be me. Well, we have an older brother, but yeah, I'm the oldest of the twins. So.
And speaking of whoever was born first, happy birthday to, I guess, both you and your twin brother, because Ben just recently celebrated his birthday this past weekend. And did you play Little League locally in the Arizona area? We're going to switch on over and start talking about some baseball.
Yes, I did. I played at Thunderbird Little League, and it was weird being a little kid and like being older now, understanding communities. But as a little kid, I remember looking up to like the older guys, like, oh my God, that's like, I want to be just like you guys and all this stuff. And look at it now, I kind of just laugh at it, how childish it was and how meaningless it was. But Little League was some of the most memorable baseball I had until I got to high school.
When you were younger, playing Little League baseball, obviously now currently as a pro, you were playing right field for the High Point Rockers. Did you play any other positions as a kid?
Yeah, I grew up as a shortstop and a pitcher. I knew early on in my life, like watching baseball, pitching was not going to be the thing I always wanted to do because I wanted to play every day. And, you know, as you get older, when I kind of grew out instead of growing up, so I was a little pudgy in high school, and it went from playing shortstop to we're playing third base, now we're playing first base. And then when I got to college, it was like kind of thinned out again. Hadn't played a lot of infield at a high level, so like, hey, go play outfield. And that's kind of, now I'm able to like just bounce back and forth frequently, so.
And you transitioned, obviously, growing up, getting older. You went from Little League. I know you played a little bit of, I think you said junior college, and you also played in Kentucky. So did you go to the University of Kentucky?
Yes, I did. So I went to Greenway High School in Arizona. I graduated 2014. And I actually went to El Paso Community College right out of high school. It was the only offer I had. And I never realized how much going away from home was going to affect me. So I left after semester's end. I actually quit baseball for like a good month and a half. Walking to the bus stop one day to go to work, and I was like, yeah, I don't know what hit me, but something hit me. I was like, yeah, you should probably try to go play again. And then a school in Arizona, Phoenix College, reached out to me. Played there for 2 years. Went to the University of Kentucky, and then I was drafted by the Phillies in 2018. And COVID happened. After COVID happened, kind of just, you know, some life evaluation, and then 2021 rolled around, and the team in Lexington, the Atlantic League, called me. Played really well there, and made my way to High Point after that year. Last year was my first year here, and, you know, loving every minute of it.
So it's interesting that you mentioned the whole COVID situation. I know a lot of athletes suffered during that whole time. Well, a lot of people actually suffered during that whole situation. But did you ever get the opportunity to play in the Phillies organization, or is it just you were drafted, COVID happened, and that was it?
I played my first, played short season, which isn't a thing anymore. Played short season in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, in the New York Penn League. And then 2019 rolled around, I played in the Florida State League for that whole year. And then I went to Australia, and when I came back and COVID happened, probably about 2 months into COVID, I got a call from the Phillies, and they're like, yeah, we're giving you free agency, you have your outright release, and you can go, you know, you're free to do whatever you want. And I spent like the next 6 months at Driveline in Seattle training and kind of trying to figure things out. And it's kind of an unfair comparison, but I saw Shohei Ohtani there, and I was watching him hit one day, and I was like, yeah, I'm just never going to be able to do that. So I should probably reevaluate what I'm doing. Lexington called about 2 months after that, and funny about it, I actually said no originally, and they called me back. Like, you know, I was going back to finish my senior year in school, and they called me again. They're like, hey, we don't start till after spring semester. Like, just come out. If it gets too much, when fall semester rolls around, quit. All right, fine, I'll come, you know, have a cool summer job. And 28 home runs later, it's like, how are you gonna quit? So, yeah, and now we're still doing it.
Well, congratulations. I'm happy that you decided to come here and play with the High Point Rockers, and I'm sure you're excited that you decided to stick with the dream chase of becoming a professional baseball player. So you're currently with the High Point Rockers. What has your overall goal been so far to be with our team, and your overall experience been like playing here for the High Point Rockers?
I've loved High Point, North Carolina. It's definitely felt like a second home to me. I have a phenomenal host family in the Cottoms, and I love Jamie to death. Jamie has been a great friend, mentor, coach to me. even though he hates when you call him coach. He truly is, like, I remember the first time we talked and I was like, yeah, I want to go play for this guy. I want to be there. And I didn't realize how close we were going to grow to become. And, you know, it's been really nice to get to know his family and him. And, you know, he brings phenomenal people in our locker room all the time, like you and Ryan, just all the different people we have. I could go down the list of different names we have on our team that are just not only have played really important baseball and up to the big leagues, but are also just phenomenal people and fun to be around. So
we enjoy having you here with us as well. Speaking of us enjoying having you here, not only traveling with the team in the clubhouse, but on the field. Some of the plays that you make out in right field, a lot of us are like, how does this man just do this? He's like Superman over here. So how do you enjoy playing right field for us?
I mean, it's nice being on turf field because a turf field in the outfield, unless the ball's going to bounce over your head, it's a pretty easy read when it's on the ground. And then besides that, you know, the ball goes up in the air, it's time to go get it. And that's how just working in batting practice. It's, you know, defense is about effort. You want to be good at defense, you're going to be good at defense.
And I have to ask this question because, again, we keep talking about you being a clutch player. What is the inner feeling that you get when you accomplish something fantastic, like a walk-off hit, to get a big win?
I go back and I watch the walk-off grand slam video from time to time, like a pop-up on my phone, and I get like just the goosebumps I feel because it all happened so fast. Like, it wasn't even in my mind, like, oh, I hit a home run here, it's going to be like a walk-off. And like, as soon as I hit it, like the emotions I felt, it was like like you watch me run around the bases, I look like an idiot. I look like someone who doesn't know how to run. And it's like, I almost broke my ankle on third base, actually. Like, Jamie's like, do you remember how you almost...
Oh, no.
Like, if you go back and watch the video, I almost snapped my ankle on third base, and Jamie's like, you were like a couple millimeters away from just completely snapping your ankle.
You're just like
base.
Floating in excitement.
I had no idea what was going on. It was an outer body experience. It's probably the coolest thing I've ever done. And I was just, again, I can't even describe the emotions that like go through me even when I rewatch the video.
And speaking of emotions, how fun was it last year celebrating with beer and champagne after becoming the South Divisional champions?
I mean, it's a great feeling. You know, the goal is to win it all, and unfortunately we weren't able to do it all. And especially the way we lost, you know, we kind of gave away the first two games, and I really felt like we should have won both of them. But, you know, winning championships and popping bottles is what it's all about. It's the end of the year. That's kind of the goal you go for.
Final Rockers question. Are there any top memories that we haven't spoken about yet so far that you've enjoyed most about being a part of this team?
The bus rides are the worst and best parts of the Atlantic League because, like, no one likes sitting on the bus and riding it, but if you have, like, Jamie, Bert, and Frank do a phenomenal job of putting a great group of guys together, when you have the right group of guys, bus rides don't feel as bad. The memories you share, whether someone gets the microphone and sings a song or sharing stories, you know, like, those bus rides really can't be matched, like, to being the best parts and the absolute worst parts of playing baseball.
Well, thank you for sharing so much about your experience so far, not only in your early years, but with the High Point Rockers. And as we start to wrap up, because I know you guys have a game tonight, we need to give a shout out to your girlfriend, Annie. So I absolutely adore her. That girl comes to a lot of the games, and being a baseball wife or girlfriend or significant other in general can be tough at times because, as we just mentioned, your guy can be on the road for 2 or 3 days, maybe sometimes a week. You're at work, he's at work, and the only time you can see them is either on the off day or when they're on the field and you're sitting in the stands. But all in all, it's a very fun experience. So again, we want to shout out Annie. How did you guys meet, and how long have you guys been dating?
Met on Bumble, a dating app for those who don't know what Bumble is.
Cute.
Yeah, COVID. Thanks to COVID for that one, because wasn't a huge dating app guy because I like going out and experiencing things. But when COVID was happening, we've been dating for about 18 months, and you know, I've spent the off season with her in Charlotte, and been great. And like you said, she does show up a lot, and she's very supportive of me. And that is not an easy thing to do when you're doing the things we are. So
very true. Top date spots in Charlotte. I know you just mentioned you guys spend time there, obviously in High Point. Is there anything that you enjoy, whether it be going to Topgolf or a restaurant or maybe one of the lakes on an off day?
I mean, we really like walking the rail trail. That's definitely one of her favorite things to do, considering she works remote and inside all day. So she loves getting out and going on a walk. One of our, you know, being from Arizona, Mexican food is tough to find, but when you find good Mexican food, Peru's is one of our favorite places, good margarita that they also have there. So those are probably the two things we always end up running back around to.
Well, thank you for sharing so much about your dating life. So we learned a little bit, something intimate about Ben Aklinski. And as we wrap up, final question, because I know you personally are not a shy person. But for those that are listening that might be shy and you see your girl or maybe you're a shy girl trying to ask out a guy, what advice would you give to them if they want to just bite the bullet and ask them out on a date, but they're too shy to do so?
It's the easiest way to do it, and I wouldn't say you necessarily just go ask them out on a date, but you go say hi, and you try to have some feel for the situation and be like, all right, what are the chances here? Because once you break the ice, like everyone talks about the icebreaker, if you just say hi, the ice is broken, and after that, it's game time.
Love to hear it. Thank you so much, Ben. I fully enjoyed my time with you today.
Absolutely, thank you.